Caleb Williams looks like I say, like a grown ass man.
They did what they were supposed to do versus Carolina. They did what they were supposed to do versus Jacksonville. And they did what they were supposed to do versus the Rams. You have to beat the bad teams that are in front of you. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't take what they did too seriously. The meat of their schedule is coming up. Well, that's great. But if the meat of their schedule was coming up and they were 2-4, we would be killing them. So how about them Bears?
Let's go to the Bears. Let's run in the show now. I can't say anything anymore because we actually have sponsors.
So I mean, you can say whatever you want. One of our sponsors actually which is a clothing line, is geared towards mental health. So it's kind of perfect for some of the things you talk about. And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy Brandon Combs, here solo to react with you guys about what was the Chicago Bears versus New England Patriots. If you watched the show earlier, then you know I said I hope that they lose to the New England Patriots because I want to see how Ryan Poles handles this. And I want to see what this is for the Bears moving forward. So, got my wish. It was more embarrassing than I thought it would be. I would have at least wanted them to put up a little fight, but there was no fight. There was no fight in this team. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have let Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron come out for the second half. Jeremiah Murray, what's going on? Says if they don't fire them all, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say either, man. I really don't. I don't know what is left to say about this football team. And look, I've already heard people. I've got people in a group chat that I'm in, talking about, if they beat the Packers next week, everybody will forget. Not, you can't. And if they do beat the Packers next week, great. I mean, I want them to beat the Packers. I never want to lose to the Packers. I hate that godforsaken team. But when you are looking at what the Bears are right now, they don't stand a chance versus the Green Bay Packers. They just don't. I mean, you haven't scored a touchdown in 2 games. You get sacked 9 times. 9 times by the worst defense in the league. And you lose by was it 2 scores or it ended up being 3 scores? I think it was 18-3, 19-3. You lose by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions to the worst offense in the league. And the defense did its job again. I mean, they held the team to under 20 points again. But the defense has been great. The defense has continued to be great. The offense is lackluster. But you can talk about Caleb and Caleb had his problems today for sure. I mean, a couple of missed passes, but then there was also a lot of drop passes. There was a lot of wide receiver. I text Fitzy on during one of the plays because it was a play where he gets sacked. They brought a blitz and you watch because they had the view from behind Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams sets. He sees the blitz. He's ready to fire. None of the receivers picked up the blitz. By the time he moves forward and gets sacked, he's got not one wide receiver, not the tight end, nobody has turned their head yet to look for the ball. That you can't put that on Caleb Williams. That is coaching. That is on the wide receivers. That is on adjustments. That is on everything about what the Bears are doing. I can't explain it enough. It is bad coaching. It is bad fundamental football. It starts from the top. It starts with in the Ryan Poles. It is in your court right now. It is in your court. We wake up in the morning. Matt Eberflus should not be the head coach of this team. Shane Waldron should not be the offensive coordinator of this team. You want to promote Washington and let him be the interim head coach for the rest of the year? All for it. Shane Waldron cannot be the offensive coordinator next week going into Green Bay, and Matt Eberflus cannot be the head coach next week going into Green Bay. You just can't. That was an embarrassing performance at home. If you weren't sitting in one of the suites, Ryan Poles, and you didn't hear that the Bears fans booing from the first drive on, then I don't know what more you need to hear. I really don't. And it's gross and it's sad and it's Bears. That's the only way to put it. It's Bears. Um, Jeremiah, the play calling had no substance. They are calling plays that aren't connected and don't help ease the burden of a bad offensive line. A lot of loaf going on with the receivers. Yeah, it just there's nothing there to help the offensive line. You're correct. The offensive line was atrocious today. Again, you're going. I know it's a lot of backups, and we talked about this before in the pregame show. We talked about how bad the backups, or the offensive line is, even with the starters. He gets sacked 9 times with this all backup offensive lines. He actually they probably give up 7 sacks with the starters. I don't believe that it was because they didn't have the offensive line. It's because of play calling. Um, and it's because of Shane Waldron and this coaching staff not coaching their players properly. It's a joke, and it's going to continue to be a joke until somebody's got to make a change. Somebody's got to make a change. Somebody's got to say, "Hey guys, this doesn't work." And if it's not going to be Ryan Poles, then it needs to be Kevin Warren. And if it's not Kevin Warren, then it needs to be the McCaskies. But I have no faith that any of them are going to do anything. I think it's going to be status quo going into Green Bay. I think it's going to be status quo for the rest of the season. And then at the end of the season, the Bears are going to do what the Bears always do, and they're going to go out and they're going to get themselves a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator, and they're going to put another young quarterback in year 2 of his career in with new coaching staff. It's just what the Bears do, and is what they're going to continue to do. I can only hope Kevin Warren sets a new standard. I don't think Poles has the autonomy to fire them. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I don't know if Kevin Warren does either. I think Kevin Warren's too busy trying to figure out a new stadium, and I don't know, man. I'm so done with this franchise. I'm done with the way it's run. Um, I'm just done with it. Facebook user, I'm not sure if this is still Shanna, but fans been booing since '85. It's as embarrassing as the White Sox. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's really no other way to put that. I mean, the White Sox were embarrassing with their 121 losses, setting the record this year. Um, and watching this Bears team lose to the worst team in the NFL the way that they did, score 3 points at home in front of your home fans after everybody's been talking all week about how poorly coached you are. Um, it's just not. It's a joke, and it something has to change. Something has to change. Whether it is, like I said, Eberflus going, Waldron's got to go. I just don't know that they're going to make these changes. They never do. They never do it in season. They've never done it in season. And I don't believe that Ryan Poles is willing to do it. I don't believe that Kevin Warren is willing to do it. Um, so I mean, I don't know. It's it's tough. It's tough to watch. It's tough as a Bears fan because again, we thought that we were past this. We thought that this season was going to be different. We thought that the drafting of Caleb Williams was the start of something new, and then the roster minus the offensive line in which Ryan Poles has put together is a phenomenal roster. The defense did his job again. I believe it's got to be over 20 straight games now where they haven't allowed 20 or more points. Um it's been, oh no, they allowed more than 20 last week. So it's been, God, at least 20 of the last 21 that they haven't allowed 20 or more points. They don't allow 20 or more points in a game. This defense does what it's supposed to do. Um, Worst coaching since Combs benched me in '06 and Jason Atten, I would do it again. I would do it again. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't I really don't know what to say. Because we've said it already. We've said that this team, this franchise, they need to put a foot down. They need to make a change. They need to do it in season. Um, I don't know it. And Wayne Gregoire comes in. What's going on, Wayne G? Says we are equally livid. Why won't the Patriots just lose the rest of their games? I mean, I don't know who you want at the number one pick. That's so important that you lose the rest of your games. But I'm telling you right now, if the Patriots were trying to lose this game, the Bears are just that bad. The Patriots didn't do much to dominate this game, other than the fact that the Bears are just that bad. The offensive line is just 9 sacks. 9 sacks versus this Patriots defense, the worst defense in the league. Um, I don't get it though. The worst offense in the league, come out and beat you by 2 scores at home after you were embarrassed last week in Arizona. After you lost the previous week in equally embarrassing fashion to Washington on that Hail Mary. Like, no life in this team. It's a culture problem in Chicago. It's a coaching problem. It's a culture problem. It's a front office problem in Chicago, and it's something that we've been saying for 10 or 15 years. This team has a culture problem. This organization has a culture problem, and you can see it on the faces of the players too. DJ Moore, there was a pass down the sideline. It was a low pass. It was off the mark. But if DJ dives, DJ makes a play on that ball. He may not catch it, but he at least makes a play. And instead, he just pulls up short and lets it hit the ground. And then he gets mad at Caleb. And it's like, guy, he's running for his life. He's throwing the ball on the run. Like, what are you doing? And you're just giving up on the play. And then you're watching these guys on the sidelines. And when I'm watching them on the sidelines, I'm seeing Caleb sit there with Shane Waldron. I'm seeing Caleb sit there with the quarterback's coach. I'm not seeing him, sit on the sideline talking to DJ Moore. I'm not seeing him on the sideline talking to Roma Dunze. I'm not seeing him on the sideline talking to Keenan Allen. There was a spot where he got up and they were about to take the field, and he stops and he goes up to them and starts talking to them. But it's not. It's just not. It's a culture problem. It's a coaching problem, and something has to change. And in order to change that, you have to start changing the culture. You have to say, hey, you know what? We've never fired a head coach in season, but now's a really good time to start. And now's a really good time to get rid of what the cancer in the clubhouse is, and that's the coaching staff. And I don't know if they're going to do it. We're going to find out this week. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if you guys think that they're going to make the change. I really don't. I don't expect them to make the change. Um, but it needs to happen, and it's obvious that it needs to happen. I'm really really angry right now because I placed a parlay bet this afternoon for the Broncos to beat the Chiefs, the Steelers to beat the Commanders, and the Bills to beat the Colts. And the Steelers just beat the Commanders. The Bills beat the Colts. And the Broncos were about to beat the Chiefs on a chip shot field goal. And the Chiefs blocked the damn field goal. And the Broncos lose that game in horrendous fashion. They did cover the spread. If anybody, I bet them on the money line though. Should have bet them on the spread. I mean, if you're gonna get the points, you might as well take the points. But I thought that they would win the game outright, and they virtually did win the game outright. And then, it never ceases to amaze me. But yeah, it's for the Bears. It's a joke, and it's going to continue to be a joke. And I don't know what else to say about it. I I don't. uh, and it got blocked. How much I would have won? It was plus 1,200. I think I put $10 down on it. So about $120, $125, something in that vicinity. But just, I mean, it is what it is. Last night I had a wager on. I actually, it was my Veterans Day wager. I put it on Twitter. If you guys follow me on Twitter at Real Combsy, I'll put the bets out there before I place them when I have like a big, parlay that I think is going to hit. I'll put it out there, and I put it out there yesterday. Veterans Day special: Army to win, Navy to win, and Air Force to win. And the only one that I was worried about was Air Force because they were only 1-7, and they won last night. And all three of the military branches won their football games last night, and I won some money there. So just tough taking that loss this afternoon. So I think something is up on Facebook. They're not allowing the user to be seen. Well, Wayne came through. He's on Facebook. I think you have to, after a certain amount of time, StreamYard loses, even though you've clicked it before, you've clicked the link and you've allowed it. It's the same thing like when I go to start a stream. Um, after about 60 to 90 days, it'll tell me we're going to lose the rights to your Facebook page. So I have to reactivate it so that I can keep streaming on StreamYard. It's just a Facebook thing that they do. So you probably just have to go into there's a link below that'll tell you, hey, allow StreamYard to use your profile as for your comments. And then once you click on that and you do that, it'll allow it again. But sometimes it just loses. Facebook's got a time delay on it. It's like a password that needs to reset. Same idea. But yeah, so we're gonna see what the Bears do moving forward. Green Bay next week. We will be live at McNally's in Green Bay next week to do the Bears pregame against the Green Bay Packers and watch with whoever shows up to watch this team. My guess it'll be more Packer fans in the bar than there will be Bears fans. And this team is a joke. Ryan Poles, you've created a joke with this coaching staff. You've created an atmosphere within this coaching staff of a bunch of guys who are hired that all have the same agent as you have, which is crazy in itself that they've allowed you to hire all the guys with the same agent as you have. But you've created an environment that is so clearly not working, and has a culture problem, and had a culture problem last year and the year before, and you stuck by it, and you went out and you hired Shane Wall. You have to do something, and if you don't do something, Kevin Warren needs to step in and do something. And if Kevin Warren doesn't step in and do something, it's just going to be the same old thing. And the Bears are never going to get out of this hole that they've been created. Bears are 4-5. Should be 5-3. Just make the move now. Give the ball to Swift on first and second down, and the screen out there. I mean, they moved to 4-5 on the season. They should really be 6-2 on the season. They should have beaten Washington. Well, they shouldn't have beaten Washington, and then they should have beaten Washington, and then they didn't beat Washington. I should have beat Arizona last week. I mean, so you should beat the Colts. Talent is there. The talent is there. Your defense is that damn good. And offensively, you've got the talent on paper. You've got the talented guys in there. And what happens when you get that much talent and there's no production? There's usually a culture problem inside the clubhouse. So that's what the Bears have to figure out, and we'll see what they do for that. But we will see you guys next week at McNally's. We will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern from McNally's. Doors at McNally's open at 10:30, so feel free to come in and watch us live. Check us out. It's going to be a good time. It's always a good time, even though the Bears suck. It'll be a good time. Maybe they, like, by the grace of freaking the football gods, they find a way to accidentally beat Green Bay. But I don't expect much out of this team. I hope that there's a firing this week. Just don't expect it. Johnny, it's a nice hat, buddy. Happy birthday, Marines. Semper Fi, happy birthday, sir. It's I just I don't I really I'm at a loss for words with this franchise and with this team and what it's become. It's a joke. I'm happy that they lost today because now we get to see what's going to happen from here. And I don't expect it to be anything, but if it isn't anything, that speaks volumes to me. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. Again, McNally's next week, 11 a.m. Central Time. Feel free to come in and check us out and hang out with us. We'll watch the game together. We'll have a good time. It's $30 all you can drink and eat. They have food at halftime. Sometimes they do pizza. Sometimes they do potluck. Um, but $30 all you can drink. And Morgan does a great job making the drinks there. So it's well worth the $30. Come out, hang out, watch the show, and then watch the game with us. So till next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies.